Reconciling is probably the most important control you can perform each month to ensure your records at least agree with an outside source, for example, your bank, in terms of the amounts of money you have received and spent. Although a bank reconciliation will not verify whether you have classified all your transactions properly, it will at least confirm the amount of money you have in the bank according to your records. It is never a good feeling to find out the bank says you have one amount of money available and you thought you had a different amount, especially when you come up short because you tried to spend what you didn't have. Keep in mind you can reconcile any balance sheet account, whether it's an asset account like a bank type of account, a liability account such as a credit card account, or an equity account. The act of reconciling merely means you are comparing one set of records with another with the goal of achieving agreement between the sets of records. The reconcile function can be found under the banking drop-down menu or one of the icons representing this function. Once selected, the Begin Reconciliation window will open and allow you to select the bank account you want to reconcile, and then you can put in a date and ending balance per the bank statement you are reconciling to. If you want to put in any service charge or interest earned that appears on your bank statement, you can do so in the lower part of this window by putting in the amount, date, and account you want the entry to go to. You can also assign a class to this transaction if you would like to do so. Once the appropriate information has been entered for this window, click on Continue, which will open up the Reconcile Bank window. This window will reflect on the left side all of the charges that have been entered and not yet reconciled, and the right side will show all of the payments and credits that have been entered and not yet reconciled. In order to reconcile these items, you simply check mark all items that have cleared the bank statement you have received by left-clicking your mouse in the left check mark column next to each transaction that is open. As you check mark the items that have cleared, notice in the bottom left-hand portion of the window that the cleared balance and difference calculation changes. The reason for this is that the cleared balance represents what the cleared bank balance should be according to QuickBooks, and the difference represents the cleared balance minus the ending balance for the bank statement that you entered in the previous window. Until you are done checkmarking all the cleared items, there should be a difference, but once you are done matching all your cleared items with what cleared the bank statement, then there should be no difference, and if this is the case, then you are reconciled to the penny, as the saying goes. Since you have in front of you what you entered into QuickBooks, represented by the checkmarked items, and you also have in front of you the bank statement, then if there still exists a difference, you need to go through the process again and see where your difference lies. Either you miss some items on the bank statement that are not entered into QuickBooks or vice versa, but in either case, the answer will always be available in front of you since you have both sources of information that you are comparing. So you should always be able to reconcile. Some tools to help you reconcile include being able to hide transactions after the statement's end date, which cuts down on unnecessary detail being shown. You can also mark all or unmark all transactions on your screen to expedite your reconciliation process. If you made a mistake in entering information in the previous window, you can always select the Modify button in the lower right of your window, and on the bottom left you can see what your total deposits and other credits as well as your total check and payments that you have check marked add up to. These totals can then be compared to the statement totals that in almost all statements are provided. When your difference is 0, then you can click on the Reconcile Now button, and if you have no difference in your reconciliation, then it's completed and the window will close, and next time you do a reconciliation, the items that you checkmark will not appear. But if you had a stubborn difference that you just couldn't quite seem to get down to 0, you always have the option of forcing the reconciliation to balance by making an adjustment that posts on the previous statement date entered to a QuickBooks created expense account called Reconciliation Discrepancies. Keep in mind, it is our belief that you should always be able to reconcile to the penny since you have both sources of information to draw on when doing a reconciliation. But we also understand that sometimes you may inherit a mess to fix, or that the difference is so small it's not worth your time to investigate. But as a general rule, you should not use the enter adjustment feature casually, and if the difference is a material amount, you really need to figure out why you are not reconciling, as taking the easy way out may cause you greater problems down the road. You will find that once you start from a clean reconciled balance, the process of reconciling your bank balances each month in QuickBooks is a piece of cake, since you are simply check marking off what your bank statement shows as clearing, and any differences can be investigated immediately, and your QuickBooks records or the bank can make any adjustments necessary. The key is to do your reconciliation or reconciliations if you have more than one account to reconcile every month, and don't let differences slide or get ignored. Nip any discrepancies in the bud and always start the next month with a clean beginning balance that's been reconciled. This way you'll look forward to reconciling your bank accounts every month.